Hi, eighth graders. We're going to move on to activity 1.2, which is called Hot Shirts. And we're going to read right here that this is another t shirt company kind of competing with US Shirts from the previous activity. So it says previously you explored a job at US Shirts. One of US Shirts' competitors, Hot Shirts, advertises that it makes custom t shirts for $5.50 each with a one time setup fee of $49.95. Definitely different than US Shirts. Your boss brings you the advertisement from Hot Shirts and asks you to figure out how the competition might affect business. So determine the total customer cost of an order for 3 shirts. So I want you to do number one on your own. Excuse me, using what we know from the US Shirts. We kind of did the similar thing for US Shirts. So pause the video, go ahead and complete A, B, C, and D for number one. Welcome back. You should have found that for number one, part A, the cost was $66.45. Now, to do this, I'm only going to do it for part A. You would take the cost per shirt, $5.50, multiply that by 3, which is going to give you $16.50. And then you're going to add the $16.50 with the startup fee of $49.95, and that is going to give you this $66.45. For B, the cost of 10 shirts should be $104.95. For C, 50 shirts is $324.95. And then the cost of 100 shirts is $599.95. Again, if you have questions about that, that's something to talk to me about. Email me or see me in person. Now we're going to determine the number of shirts that a customer can purchase from Hot Shirts for $50, $60, $220. Again, same thing we did with US Shirts. So I'm going to challenge you to pause the video and do this on your own. Welcome back. Let's check answers. So for $50, well, we know there's a setup fee of $49.95. So let's get rid of that first. So 50 minus $49.95 equals 5 cents. And now they only have 5 cents to spend. We have to divide that by the cost per shirt. They're not going to be able to buy anything, right? I can't buy a full shirt for this. So for $50, 0 shirts. Let's look at this with $60. So again, let's subtract the setup fee. So 60 minus $49.95 is going to be $10.05. We need to take $10.05 and divide it by $5.50, which is the cost per shirt. Now, 10.05 divided by $5.50, that's probably something we'd have to go off to the side and do, or we can grab a calculator and do 10.05 divided by $5.50, and I got a decimal that is about 1.83 or so. This means that this customer can buy 1 shirt. For C, $220. I'm going to save some time and not go through that work. You should have found that they can buy 30 shirts at this store for $220. Now we're going to complete the same numbers in the table as we did with US Shirts. So 3, 4, 10, 25, 100, 120, 150. We've already found some of these. So for 3 shirts, we saw it was 66.45. For 10 shirts, it was 104.95. For 100 shirts, we saw it was 599.95. So pause the video, you fill in the others. So I would like for you to take the time to do the work, just like we did in number 1 up above, and complete the table. All right, let's check answers. 4 shirts, it should have cost $71.95. For 25, it should be $187.45. For 120, it would be $709.95. And for 150, $874.95. So there's our table. Now we are going to graph it, just like we did with US shirts. We're going to start off by identifying those lower bounds and upper bounds, and we're going to label everything. Our labels and everything in our graph really is going to be the same as the US shirts. So down here on our x-axis, this is going to be number of shirts. That was our independent variable. And our y-axis is going to be the total cost. That's our dependent variable. For the title, we'll just name it Hot Shirts. That's the name of this t-shirt shop. Now for our bounds, using the table, again, I think for the number of shirts, we can do 0 to 150, just like we did for the US shirts. We will also keep the same intervals of 10. So let's label all of that. This is going to be 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. This last one would be 150 then. For the total cost, we don't need to go up quite as high, actually. But I actually liked how it ended up with our intervals being 100 last time with the US shirts. So let's use our lower bound as 0 and the upper bound is 1500 again with intervals of 100. So just label this with me. Again, I'm just labeling every other. So it ends up just being the even numbered ones are in the hundreds place. 1200, 1400. The very top would be 1500. And now I think we're ready to graph. So again, we're going to use some estimation here. Let's start with some of the easier ones. 10 shirts was almost 105. So 10 shirts is located right here, just over $100. So just slightly above. There we go. 100 shirts, just under $600. 100 shirts, basically almost $600. For 120 shirts, it was just over $700. So here's 700, just a little bit above 700. And for 150 shirts, it was $874.95, so almost 900. Right in there. I think that probably gives us a pretty good picture. We could put the 25 one on there probably. So 25, 187.45, just under 200. Somewhere right in there. Excuse that bell. And that's probably good enough. 4 is under 71. 3 is 66. No, let's put 3 in here, 3 and 4 in here, somewhere in there for 4 and almost $80 to $71. All right, and again, we can put our line on there, and I really should probably make that one just a little bit higher, actually, somewhere in there. And let's make our line. There we go. So the line again models the situation. Doesn't necessarily mean that some of these make sense in this situation, as there's going to be decimals and stuff in here that aren't quite exactly the cost. but it does give us a kind of a good picture of it. All right, so we're going to define our variables. We'll use N and C again. So we'll use we'll use C for total cost. And we used S, didn't we? We'll use S for number of shirts. We know it is not a proportional relationship again. It's not going through the origin. So we know it's going to be in this form. This is the slope. This is the starting point. Well, we know our starting point is the setup fee of $49.95, and we know the slope is the cost per shirt, which was $5.50. So our equation, in place of y, we're using c. Remember, c equals 550 s plus 49.95. Now we have just represented another t-shirt shop with an equation, a graph, and a table. In our next activity, we will start comparing these two things. Have a great day, everyone.